guy is a beast. He's a good fighter. He's a hard fighter to beat. And I think he'll learn from the mistakes he made in the first fight against Usyk, and it will give him a hard fight. Look, he has the tools to win.
I'm his size. I'm Canelo size. I'm his age. I'm in his weight division.
So
it's a difference.
People that duck Canelo, quote-unquote duck Benavidez, would you be the fighter that's willing to get in there?
I would fight.
Dubois now is a different machine.
Self-confidence will be...
And time waits for no man, as the saying goes. I just think that this is a fight that's exciting. It's a good fight. You've got to make Usyk the favourite, but it's a fight that Daniel Dubois can definitely win.
Yeah.
We saw a perfectly legitimate punch that was not scored by the referee. He chose, for whatever reason, he could have been conned into it by Usyk, which makes it a cheat.
Don Charles study Anthony punch dirty. Okay, no problem. It's deal only Don Charles. For me, it doesn't matter. I'm cheater. Okay, but I'm not good.
If you ask me personally, I consider this fight to be way more dangerous for Usyk than the previous one. Now we see Daniel Dubois, not a prospect, a young kid anymore.
On Daniel Dubois against Oleksandr Usyk, realistically, has he got any chance? We've got 30 seconds.
Of course he has. Look, it's a tough ask, of course. You know, the thing with Usyk is he doesn't depend on his power to knock you out. He depends on his skill. That's why it's a tough ask, because he's going to box rings around you if you let him. Dubois, good luck. Don Charles, good luck. Great British boxing, good luck. We potentially might have a heavyweight championship back on our soil.
You know, the trainer says to the other fighter and says, you're a cheat and you're not a God-fearing man and you're a liar. And, you know, I think this is just, you know, absolutely insane.
Oleksandr Usyk is the best fighter in boxing, period. Of this generation, what he's done at cruiserweight, what he's done at heavyweight, what he's done to all the other British fighters, to do the double over AJ, the double over Tyson.
Some people are talented, some people are dedicated to the sport, they're not consistent. Or I think the biggest factor is they're not confident in themselves, or they just ain't mentally prepared to be a boxer.
And I believe that I win. I feel I can win.
Usyk is a class act, a mature individual because he's older and wiser, comes from a completely different background. But Daniel Dubois is growing into himself. This will be one hell of a fight. This will be a proper fight, like all of the Usyk fights have been.
From Earth, not from Mars or from Moon, find the motivation after everything he has completed in his career.
Alex, where will camp?
Especially in Usyk press conference, he's not going to start flipping tables and kicking off and this, that and the other. He's going to play a few little games and mind games and that. But aside from that, pretty chill and relaxed.
Daniel's a heavy puncher. In both hands carries dynamite. And it's just going to be a case of picking his moments, believing in his work. And there are 3 or 4 fundamental things that he must do. And if he does them, he'll have success.
For Great Britain. It's not an easy task, but he's definitely the man that can go through with it. He's done the work, he's gone through the pedigree, and he's a certified champion. So, you know, I think he has big hopes on doing it. He's going to do it.
Too much difference. I haven't really seen too much difference. I think maybe he's just more confident in the ring, maybe with the opponents. You know, we know he can punch. We know he's got a good jab. So it might just be a matter of, like I said, confidence in himself. I don't think he's changed.
Relaxed, and he believes in himself, you know, and that's why he's talking the way that he's talking right now. He's a different proposition to the one that was boxing Oleksandr Usyk a couple of years ago, and he goes not just physically, not just mentally. He totally believes in himself now.
So we'll fight the winner between Usyk and Daniel Dubois.
And who do you think wins that fight?
Usyk wins that fight for sure. But anything can happen. This is boxing.
I'll give Dubois a shot in that fight. It's a good time. I mean, a little bit of inactivity because of the fight falling through against Joseph Parker, but you know, it's exciting, and I think definitely a fight he could.
Oh, 100%. Daniel Dubois is, like I say, Daniel Dubois is a machine, and I back Daniel Dubois. If he was fighting anybody else other than Oleksandr Usyk, I'd back him to win.
Dubois' right hand
is probably the most deadly right hand in boxing right now.
Devastating. We might get to see it in July at Wembley Stadium.
It is devastating.
Yeah.
It is. If he can land it, it's devastating.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's got to believe in himself more, in my opinion.
Dubois now, though.
Yeah, no, I do. I do think he's massively improved. I think he came of age against AJ.
Personality-wise, he's looking a bit more.
I just think, you know, against Jarrell Miller, he's shown he can come through tough moments. Jarrell Miller wasn't active enough, and Jarrell Miller doesn't punch hard enough. He'll come across a completely different skill set than Oleksandr Usyk. You got to remember he's been in there with him already. And
I don't know. I just love the way Usyk boxes. His ring IQ. He knows his way around that ring, and I just feel like he'll be too smart and too slick for Dubois.
Lennox Lewis has thrown his full support behind Daniel Dubois, calling him a king reborn, and backing him to avenge his controversial loss to Oleksandr Usyk. The heavyweight legend believes Dubois has transformed through adversity, stronger, hungrier, and mentally sharper. According to Lewis, Dubois now has the tools to shock the world, but Lewis also offers a tactical warning. Trying to headhunt a defensive genius like Usyk won't work. He advises Dubois to focus on brutal body work and precise uppercuts, not wild power punches. Lewis sees the potential for victory, but he knows the challenge that lies ahead.
Daniel Dubois, what would you be telling him? What would the advice you'd be giving him going into this?
Probably to start with your jab, keep your head moving, you know, don't get hit by jabs, you know, and go out there.
Their first encounter was unforgettable. Dubois sent shockwaves through the boxing world when he dropped Usyk, an incident still shrouded in controversy. But that moment proved something. Dubois has the power to hurt Usyk. Now, heading into the rematch, he's no longer that green fighter from 2023. He's evolved into a far more complete threat. This isn't just a return bout, it's a potential reckoning. Carl Froch weighed in with trademark bluntness.
The difference if that happens, I mean, if you allow a man to get through with the jab and get through with the right cross, you know, it's really up to Anthony Joshua to protect against that. And, you know, he's got a good trainer in his corner. Let's see if them guys can do that.
He admits Dubois looks like a destroyer after stopping both Anthony Joshua and Filip Hrgović. Still, Froch reminds fans that Usyk is no ordinary champion. While Dubois has improved dramatically, Usyk rallied from trouble in their first fight, then went on to defeat Tyson Fury twice. Froch respects Dubois' rise, but gives Usyk the slight edge, 55-45. Dev Sani echoes the belief that this is a different Dubois. He says Dubois has buried the ghost of the infamous low blow and is now laser-focused on the future. According to Dev, Dubois is tougher.
I can imagine as we get closer to fight night now, that low blow stuff's going to be left now. It feels like it was done at that presser and the surrounding media days, but now it's going to be about this new version of Daniel Dubois. But back to Usyk, he had to talk. He was forced to engage at that press conference. Very interesting. Will it make any difference at all to the...
Sharper and mentally locked in. He calls this not just redemption, but the end of Usyk's reign. Still, the reigning champ remains unmoved. Usyk isn't rattled, he's ready. Calm, calculated, and technically brilliant, Usyk enters the rematch with icy focus. He moves like a chess grandmaster, every jab a precise decision. He's not just defending belts, he's solidifying his legacy. Dubois may be reborn, but Usyk remains the master, and on the biggest stage, brilliance always meets brute force with cold calculation. On the other hand, Oleksandr Usyk's training camp is a masterclass in discipline.
I'm undisputed from Ukraine, Oleksandr Usyk.
Precision and elite preparation. As fight night approaches, Usyk is completely dialed in. His camp is designed to maintain the lightning-fast reflexes, surgical accuracy, and unshakable ring IQ that have made him a nightmare for heavyweights. Every session is brutal, relentless conditioning, intense technical drills, and tactical breakdowns tailored to dissect every inch of Daniel Dubois' style. Usyk's sparring partners are hand-picked to mirror Dubois' aggression, while his strategy team analyzes every possible scenario. Nothing is left to chance. This isn't just a preparation, it's a calculated dismantling in the making. The energy in Usyk's camp speaks volumes. He isn't preparing just to win, he's preparing to dominate. Against a re-engineered and mentally sharper Dubois, Usyk is planning to expose every flaw with the cold precision of a champion who's seen it all and still walks untouchable. The first clash ended in controversy. This rematch could erupt into all-out chaos. Usyk, the undefeated technician, is stepping back into the fire against Daniel Dubois, the reborn powerhouse who shocked the world by dropping Anthony Joshua and demolishing Filip Hrgović. But this isn't just about titles. For Usyk, it's about protecting a legacy of brilliance. For Dubois, it's deeper, redemption and vengeance wrapped into one high-stakes night. This isn't just a rematch, it's a clash of styles, willpower, and destiny. Who has the better game plan? Don Charles, with his aggressive blueprint, or Usyk's camp of calm, clinical execution? If Dubois lands clean early, can Usyk survive? Or will the Ukrainian's elite timing and ring IQ break down another monster? The question stands, is this Dubois' moment, or another flawless chapter in Usyk's legacy? Drop your predictions below. Let the war of opinions begin.